Firstly, I'd like to greet you all today as being Woodley's newest community members. Firstly, I'd like to introduce myself, Chantel and Monique. We'll be providing you with a guide to building and settling at Woodley this afternoon. I guess there are a couple of key bits and pieces which we'll be running through sort of firstly, and then there's a pre-recorded presentation which we normally deliver to all purchasers, but I'll go through that in greater detail in a moment. So I guess one of the key items for us today is just providing a construction update on stage 43 and alongside with an updated titles timeframe. So for context, construction is progressing quite well within stage 43 at the moment, with topsoiling occurring, but it's been minorly impacted due to just some of the windy days we've been experiencing on site and some environmental bits and pieces which we've been working through. But sort of over the coming weeks, we will see the completion of civil works occur within stage 43, which is a significant milestone for the project. And with that in mind, we're in a position to sort of provide a more concise update to our forecast titles timeframes. With that in mind, at the moment, it's looking like titles for 43 will occur slightly earlier than previously forecast, with the potential for issuance to occur in February at this stage. However, there are a number of key approvals required from authorities for that to occur. Given the current COVID-19 pandemic, titles dates are currently difficult to forecast, predominantly due to the current work from home arrangements experienced by various authorities. So given the current uncertainty, we understand the need to sort of engage a lot more frequently with members of our community, and as such, between sort of now and Christmas, we'll be communicating with you and your legal representatives at least every fortnight, but potentially more frequently depending on sort of key milestones which are achieved through the provision of approvals from authorities. The current title issuance that we have, the current title timeframe which we have on our website is quite conservative and represents sort of the worst case scenario at this stage. However, there'll be an update which we will be putting onto the website sort of early to mid next week, which will provide greater clarity regarding title timeframe, which, as I mentioned earlier, is sort of looking around potentially February next year. Given the current uncertainty around titles timeframes, I strongly encourage you to start arranging your finances immediately. I'd advise you to sort of finalise your financial approvals and the like prior to Christmas, given the potential for brokers and financial representatives to take extended periods of leave over Christmas, which we forecast this year will be exacerbated due to the current COVID-19 pandemic. And sort of tomorrow morning, we'll be providing you with an email sort of detailing our standard procedures regarding valuation access, which is usually a really key milestone in order to achieve your financial approvals. And in that email, we'll be providing guidance that the booking date for that valuation access can sort of occur from Monday, the 23rd of November onwards, as sort of booked in with your legal representatives. So, as I mentioned earlier, in the past, we've experienced sort of technical difficulties with the presentation. As such, we've pre-recorded a large portion of the presentation, as it's generally standard across most stages. So if you experience any difficulties at all, don't worry, because we will be sending out a link once a presentation has been completed to all stage 43 purchases. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, I strongly encourage you to click on the Q&A tab, which can be found at the bottom of your screen. And within that tab, if you just type your question, once the pre-recorded element of this presentation has been complete, we'll be going through each individual question, and Chantel, myself, or Monique will be able to provide an answer to every query. So without much further ado, we will start the pre-recorded element of today's presentation. There are a number of housekeeping items that we'd like to go through today prior to starting the presentation. Firstly, I'm sure you'll have a number of questions today. I'd kindly ask, if you do have questions, to click on the question and answer button at the bottom of your screen. Type in the question that you may have, and at the end of today's presentation, we'll go through each of the questions one by one and provide an answer. I'd ask if you could please keep the questions generally broad in nature. If there are any specific questions about your settlement, I would encourage you to engage with this customer service team. So there are obviously a number of agenda items which we will be going through today. So we'll be providing a general construction update. We'll be explaining what's been happening behind the scenes over the last year or so within stage 41. And then I'll be handing over to Fatma, and she'll be explaining what your legal representative's responsibilities are throughout the settlement process, what your specific responsibilities are. We'll be providing a general overview about the design guidelines and the process that you need to go through in building your home. We'll be explaining some complimentary gifts, which we'll be providing to all the purchasers. We'll be also going through some helpful information, explaining generally the community events that we normally hold at Woodlea, providing there weren't current stage 4 restrictions in place. There are a number of COVID-19 FAQs which we'll be identifying. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll also be covering off various questions at the end of the presentation. So Woodlea has a very strong history of delivering, with construction commencing in 2015. Over the last 5 years, in excess of around 2,500 lots have been delivered across the precinct, and introducing in the order of about 6,000 community members. We have a presentation, we have a construction presentation which we'll run through in a moment now, just to provide a bit of an update on how we've been progressing with construction. As I mentioned earlier, Woodlea has a strong history of delivering, with construction commencing in 2015. Over the last 5 years, a number of key infrastructure items have been delivered in the community, whether it be cafes, learning hubs, pharmacies and medical centres, or primary schools and local town centres. Woodlea has had a strong history of delivering over that time, and we will continue to in the future with the delivery of numerous primary schools, high schools, indoor sports centres and community facilities, which Woodlea will be facilitating in conjunction with council. This master plan provides a good indication of the location of numerous key pieces of infrastructure, with the local town centre located in this area here. Taylor's Road Bridge naturally located in this area here, stages 41 through 50 in this region. And the local the sales office located generally in this area here. The slide provides a key example of the numerous infrastructure and community facilities which have been delivered over the past 5 years. As I mentioned earlier, the primary school, doctors' facilities and pharmacy, numerous adventure parks, active open spaces, the Aintree Cafe and Garden, which seems to be a real hit with purchases, and along with the Woodlea Town Centre. So in the past year, there's been a lot of bits and pieces we've been working behind the scenes to enable settlement of lots within your stage. So firstly, our surveyor lodges a plan of sub to council for approval, and then subsequently council requests authorities to provide consent to that approval process. Statement of compliance is then generally obtained from council, which generally reflects the completion of construction works. The plan of sub is lodged with the titles office, and with a notification that the land has been registered. And then at that time, we will be providing to you via our conveyancer the notification that you generally due to settle your lot within 14 days. Settlement is then booked with your legal representative, whether it be a conveyancer or similar. and then statements of adjustment are prepared which reflect adjustments to land tax and rates and the like. And then you'll need to draw your cheque or arrange your finances for settlement. And then settlement will generally occur between Woodlea, your bank, which is facilitated by your legal representative. Now I'll be handing over to Fatma to explain to you what your legal representative's responsibilities are.
Thank you, Matt. So it's very important that you understand what your legal representative's responsibilities are, otherwise known as your conveyancer as well. So they'll work together with your bank to get all the necessary paperwork and documents ready for settlement. And along with that would come the title details as well. With the bank, they ensure your funds are in place, ready for settlement. And they'll be in contact with your bank or broker at least 24 hours prior to settlement. They'll also review the statement of adjustments. Now this is required, that there would be adjustments made with council rates and other utility bills as well. And they also help determine what fees you need to pay as well at settlement, including stamp duty and transfer fees as well. All right, so moving on to what your responsibilities are. It's very important that you understand that it's your responsibility to settle on time. You will need to work with your bank and your conveyancer to ensure that you have everything in order, ready to meet your settlement date. Funds do need to be ready at least 24 hours prior to settlement. You also need to ensure your block is maintained. So this is ensuring that it's free from any rubbish or debris, and also ensuring that your lock pegs are in place as well. We will notify you when you've got access to the site to be able to carry out these tasks. But if there are any issues along the way, please don't hesitate to let us know. It's important that you do advise us of these issues prior to settlement. So the design guidelines, this is definitely an exciting time to start the process of building, and we're here to help you through that process. We want to try and make sure that you're going to build a home that you would love to live in forever. And the guidelines are in place to ensure that your investment is protected to a high building standard, and it also provides you with a peace of mind. The aim is to create a coherent vision for Woodlea. It encourages a range of styles that are transparent to the streetscape in the estate. The guidelines can also be downloaded from our website. However, we will also send you a copy of these after this presentation. Now, how to submit your plan. So I've just got a quick video here for you, but more information can also be found on our website within the Home Design Hub.
So, you've purchased a block at Woodlea. Firstly, congratulations. Now here's your guide for submitting your house plans to our Woodlea Home Design team, so you can start building your dream home at Woodlea. First off, tell us who you're building with. Once you've chosen your builder and signed contracts, be sure to let our team know. How do you let us know? Well, at Woodlea, we like to keep in touch. Once you settle on your lot, we will send you an email with an online form to submit your builder details to our team. Remember, your builder is responsible for submitting your plans. That's why we need to get this information. What if you haven't received any emails? Not to worry. Sometimes we might not have your most up-to-date contact details on file. You can simply visit our website and fill out your builder details under the I am a purchaser heading, just like this. Or if you want, give our friendly team a call to let us know who you're building with and update your best contact details at the same time. So what's next? Once you've confirmed with our team who you're building with, your builder will be emailed a unique online form from our team to submit your house plans. We'll also send your builder reminders to submit your plans so your home gets approved as quickly as possible. Once your house plans are submitted by your builder, our team of home design experts will review your new home plans within 10 working days. You and your builder will be notified by email and SMS once your plan has been reviewed. Any other questions? you can visit woodley.com.au/house-design-hub for further information and to get in touch.
So just moving on to the process of building your new home. So for anyone that's eager to start building straight away and you haven't actually gone through the building process as such, I'd strongly encourage that you get that going straight away because it's quite a lengthy process. As you can see on your screen there, the process of paying a deposit to your builder and then moving across to your colour selection and upgrades appointment can take on average 2 to 8 weeks. From here, you'll then move across to a new home tender. So this on average can also take 2 to 4 weeks. And then before you're signing a building contract, an additional 2 weeks. So that process in itself, you would need to allow anywhere between 90 to 120 days. Once your building contract has been signed, building permits and approvals are required. And then you'll be able to commence with your progress payments during construction. Just in regards to this process as well, you don't actually need to settle on your land before your plans are submitted to Woodley. You're more than welcome to submit them in advance, which means you settle and you can start construction straight away rather than waiting for an approval. So just moving on to some common mistakes made when designing and building, we just wanted to flag a few of these things just to ensure that it's a smooth process moving forward as well during your construction. So hard landscaping such as your driveway, letterbox and fencing are the most common items that people do get wrong. It's very important that you just have a look at your approved plan, or you can also refer back to our design guidelines as well, and we can assist you through that process. Driveways need to be poured, fencing installed in accordance to those plans as well. Now, if your builder is not providing you with these particular aspects of your build, it's important that you do hand over your approved plan to your contractor that you've nominated as well. Just be mindful synthetic turf and roller shutters are not permitted where visible. If you do wish to have these, please ensure that you nominate them on your plan and submit them through to the design review panel for assessment. And once again, with your letterbox, making sure you're going back to the approved plan or having a look at our guidelines for the different letterboxes that would be approved as well. If you're not sure and you can't see it in our guidelines, feel free to just shoot that through to us and we can let you know. Now, our gift to you, some exciting things are on offer. One would be the community infrastructure levy. So it's a $900 payment to council. It is paid by us on your behalf, just to kickstart your building process. Council will then use these funds to feed back into the community for different facilities. And the other thing that you'll actually receive from us is a front landscaping package. Valued up to $10,000. There's 3 different designs that you can select from, and 2 different colour schemes as well that you can also choose from to help complement your home. Now, there are different government grants as well. So one would be the First Home Owners Grant. You would need to lodge the application through the State Revenue Office. You can speak to your conveyancer or legal representative to assist you through this process. And there's also the $25,000 government grant at the moment as well. So you can also speak to your broker in reference to that to guide you through that process. We're also here to help as well, and we do understand that it can be a difficult time with finances, especially with the current circumstances, but there is what's known as the Mortgage Wellbeing Service. So building your home is obviously one of the biggest investments that can occur in your life. We do understand that having a mortgage can be very stressful, so should you have any questions or need any advice, feel free to contact the Djerriwarrh Health Services. They're a financial counsellor for the Mortgage Wellbeing Services, and then they'll be able to contact you as well. So they're always available should you have any questions at all. Should you wish to contact them directly, please contact our customer team or our sales team, and we can definitely assist you through this process. So yeah, you can see on your screen as well that there's some different events that have been carried out. So everything that you can see on your screen have actually been part of Woodlea, which is, yeah, great to see. Things that you don't see on the screen are things like table tennis, play group, and pizza nights as well. They're quite popular. So Aintree Cafe and Garden, they're a non-for-profit organisation, and all profits actually do feed back into the Woodlea community. They're currently operating just next door to our office, the Woodlea Hub, open Monday to Saturday, 8 AM till 3 PM. They do offer a number of different meals and free delivery to our residents here at Woodlea. So yeah, if you are a resident at the moment, feel free to drop in. Okay, so moving on to some COVID-19 FAQs, there's definitely been some questions raised about settlement and the effects of COVID over the last few months. So we just want to cover these off for you as well. So the first one is, will COVID-19 impact my settlement date? So the safety and well-being of our customers, residents, service providers and employees are and will always be our highest priority. Following on from that, what if I can't settle due to unforeseen circumstances? We do understand it is a difficult time, and Woodlea will work with you over the coming weeks and months to work towards settling your property. Please note that you will need to make any request for an extension through your solicitor as well. What if I'm delayed in building on my block? We understand this is a possibility. What we would strongly encourage is that you approach your legal representative, your conveyancer. They'll put something together for Maddocks Lawyers, they're our representative, outlining why you need this extension. It will be reviewed by the vendors, and it's up to their discretion if they provide approval or not in that aspect. So that really covers off, I guess, the FAQs around COVID-19. Now we're just moving on to questions that everyone's raised. I'm going to pass you on to back on to Matt to answer.
What is the indicative date for stage 43 settlement? Now, it's quite a difficult question to answer at the moment. So generally speaking, we provide guidance on forecast title time frame, and as we all know, settlement generally occurs 14 days from the issuance of titles for a respective lot or stage. So at the moment, based on sort of how we're progressing on site, the best case scenario is that title issuance will occur sort of within February, but it is completely reliant on the authorities providing consent within a realistic time frame. Given, as I mentioned earlier, given that we're sort of still working from home, and a lot of the authorities are as well, we've noticed that the authorities can take a little bit longer than what they normally would to provide consent to statement of compliance. So in that regard, there's potential that date might sort of vary a little bit more than what it normally would, but we've made the commitment between now and Christmas to continue to engage at minimum on a fortnightly basis with all purchasers to provide further guidance on forecast title timeframe and therefore settlement timeframes. Just having a look through the questions now, just having a look through the chat now to see if there's any additional questions which are coming through. I can't seem to see any at the moment. Might just give everyone another moment to compile their questions. Okay, another one's just come through from Cassandra. Thank you for your question, Cassandra. Cassandra's question is, what phase is stage 43 currently in? Now, I assume we're referring to sort of the construction phase. So in our last update on the website, we were sort of working through gas and water reticulation on site. Since then, over the last sort of month or so, we've progressed quite rapidly through some of the stages with sort of the current restrictions easing over the last sort of month or so. And as such, we're in a position where we've all but complete sort of the civil elements of the stage. So what that means is that we're installing topsoil onto most of the lots within stage 43, and then which is generally the last item which is required prior to Woodlea requesting consent to statement of compliance from the authorities. So as I mentioned in the Prezo, moving forward, we basically complete that topsoiling, then we request a practical completion from council. Council will generally issue that within a sort of a short time frame, but then we work through a process of obtaining a statement of compliance from all the relevant authorities, whether that's a water authority, gas authority, it could be the electrical authority, which is generally the most important approval from our perspective, because it's generally the last approval which you achieve prior to SOC being issued, SOC being statement of compliance. So I hope, Cassandra, I've answered your question there. So we've basically complete construction in stage 43. So again, thank you everyone for your time, and I hope you have a lovely evening.